For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. It's been well over a month since the Riverfront brawl in Montgomery, Alabama, and finally several people involved are speaking out for the very first time. In a brand new exclusive interview with Good Morning America, three individuals, Damian Pickett, the dock worker who was attacked first, Aaron Hamilton Rudolph, the 16-year-old boy who swam across the river, and Rashawn Carlton, another co-worker and friend, spoke with Robin Roberts on Monday to talk about their experience. As we all know, on August 5th, an incident began by a group who docked their pontoon boat in a space that was reserved for the city's riverboat. When a black man, Pickett, untied the pontoon boat following his captain's orders, he was confronted by a white man. After some talking, the white man struck Pickett before more white men joined in on the fight. It didn't take long for the fight to spiral out of control as several bystanders also joined in. This man just put his hands on me. I was like, it's my job, but I'm still defending myself at the same time. So when he touched me, I was like, it's on. Everybody was just recording. No one helped. I couldn't just watch and sit around and just let him get beat on while everybody else was just recording. Before y'all start recording and joking and laughing, how about think and help people? He could have gotten injured or worse. You don't know what could have happened that day. Me walking up to the guys and asking them, well, why did you all jump on him like that? And he, referring to me, goes, who the F you think you are? It's our duty as our co-worker, as our team to go and aid and assist him. Before this interview, the captain of the boat, Jim Cattrall, would add his thoughts on seeing his co-worker attacked.
But you know, I saw it like everybody else saw it. It looks like a white people attacking a black man. I thought that. I felt that. I felt that was the case, what everybody's thinking. You know, I don't know the hearts of those men. I have no idea what's in their hearts. Now, I do know the hearts of my crew. And my crew was like frustrated because they couldn't get to the dock and protective. So I know that's what was going through their mind because that's what was going through mine.
When asked if the incident could have been considered a hate crime, Police Department Chief Daryl Albert said police were unable to present any insight in a riot or racially biased charges at this time. Although no one was charged with a hate crime, Pickett did say some nasty words were thrown at him when he was attacked. In addition, Carlton also said he heard a lot of racial slurs being used during the brawl. Now, Complex will report that TMZ gained legal documents which stated that a woman who worked the riverboat, Krista Warren, said that one of the white men who attacked Pickett yelled, F that N-word, before coming down to the dock to fight him. Warren added that the man yelled that after Pickett moved the smaller boats that stopped the riverboat from docking. Because of this incident, Richard Roberts was charged with 2 counts of third-degree assault, while Alan Todd, Zachary Shipman, and Mary Todd were charged with 1 count of third-degree assault. According to ABC News, all have pleaded not guilty. ABC News reached out to the suspects and their attorneys. However, their requests for comment were not returned. Joining me, we have our very own You Be the Judge analyst, Joya, to help further this conversation. Joya, I'm not surprised, but first, how are you doing?
I am doing good, but it's so disheartening as Comedy Hype continues to track this story. The developments are what many of us do not want. We wanted this to be acknowledged as a crime against Black people. There were several people around that heard the racial slurs. So this was racially motivated. And the fact that these individuals were charged by a Black police chief, y'all, with misdemeanor crimes, it's really disheartening, Symphony.
No, I couldn't agree with you. It's definitely, in a sense, it's not surprising because you see so many people that don't look like us get away so easily with things. So seeing this is like, it's not surprising, but as you said, it is always disheartening because it's like, well, how far have we truly come as a country? When you first saw the news break, because we've had this conversation before, right? When we were in the midst of covering this story and tracking it, we kind of said like, hey, we think these loopholes, you know, they have, it's going to make it hard, but we were hopeful that they were going to follow through. What was your reaction when you saw that they're probably not going to follow through on these hate crimes?
Right, and I do want to correct myself. You know, the police chief is not the DA or the AG that's responsible for charging the crimes. But you would think in a city like Montgomery that has and holds so much history against Black people, that this would be some type of vindication, right? Because people all around the nation gathered together and we were saying, yes, We banded together because we felt it. We felt it in our bones that this was racially motivated, even if the legal definitions did not fit. It fit the moral and historical definitions of being a hate crime. So for me, I just frown. I frown at the legal system. Again, it is a miscarriage of justice in part in the Montgomery criminal legal system. This is something that should be elevated. This is something that should be recognized as a hate crime. But then again, there's so much nuance when it comes to hate crimes against Black people.
Absolutely.
We need to make more noise about that.
Yeah, and I want to get into that. I want to read a couple comments first because people are agreeing with you, and some people are on the other side as well. I want to read a couple comments. Here we go. One user says that Alabama brawl was a hate crime. Why are the arrested people who attacked that Black co-captain not being charged for a hate crime? Witnesses said they were using the N-word. As you mentioned, people have spoke out and they're saying, hey, this is what we heard. But on the other end, we have DJ Pooh who tweeted out and said, no hate crime charges needed, in my opinion, for the riverboat brawl. Sometimes a fight is just a fight. Let the lesson be the A-whooping, LOL. I know people use Twitter to, get retweets and comments, but this isn't a funny case, right? Because what we heard in this interview, anything could have happened to that co-captain. He could have hit his head or, died in this situation or been seriously hurt, but thankful for people that were able to jump in and help him. Why do you think we haven't seen, why haven't we seen this be charged as a hate crime? Because it seems very clear, it seems straightforward from, there's footage, there's, witnesses. I feel like all these things are in a line for what is needed. Why do you think we haven't seen this be charged as a hate crime?
Tiffany, I think you know the answer to that. Like, we are still at a point in time, even in 2023, where the laws are applied unequally when it comes to one individual to the next individual. So whether you want to say Black or white, rich or poor, the laws are applied unequally in our criminal legal system. This has been going on since the beginning of time. That's why museums like the Legacy Museum and the National Memorial for Peace and Justice exist in the city of Montgomery, because we have to constantly be confronted with this history of why it has not leaned towards justice. We still need justice fighters today. We still need people today that's fighting for the rights of Black people. And it's really sad that I have to say that in 2023. But when you think about in 2022, the anti-lynching bill was just passed in 2022. The Emmett Till bill was just passed in 2022, which made lynching punishable by 30 years if you were to lynch somebody, right? So these are the things that we constantly have to deal with. And I know when people say, race is not an issue, race is a social construct, or people are race baiters. No, it's because we are still confronted with things like this. And also, when you think about the other side and why we need clear definitions of crimes against Black people, last year in 2022, there were 2 Black teen girls who were charged after hitting a white woman on a bus. And they were said to have made some anti-white statements. That's what police are saying. I don't know if those teens have been convicted, but I do know that they were charged, which is kind of like something that you think about, like anti-white, anti-Black. If we just have these hate crimes out there with no clear definitions when it comes to the history against Black people, we definitely need those to be a little bit more clear.
Yeah, and I want to stay in that lane because you hit on a couple things, like, right, when we're talking about the law, when we're talking about clear, concise bills that are passed. We saw that with the Asian community. And as you mentioned, just last year, it gave me chills hearing you say that again, the anti-lynching bill was passed. Do you think there needs to be a anti-Black hate crime bill that's clear, that has very clear lines of, when something is racially motivated? Because obviously I feel like if we had something intact for this situation, it's like, oh, well, hey, here's what this bill says, as opposed to just the general hate crime bill. What are your thoughts there?
We need it, and we actually do. We have an anti-Black hate crime bill, y'all, that is out there that has not been passed. It has not gained attention.
Please share details.
Yes, so back in 2015, lawmakers were talking about a clear anti-Black hate crime bill after Dylan Roof, who shot up the church in Charleston, South Carolina. And he had a whole manifesto talking about why he targeted that Black church. There were slurs heard at the brawl, all in our media. People know how to spew hate against Black people. When you look at Love and Hip Hop and what happened with Erica Mena and with Ice Spice, I'm not Ice Spice, woo, Erica Mena and Spice, and the term blue monkey or monkey that was used. Those are things that people know. They know the dog whistles to send to people when it comes to crimes against Black people. There needs to be, because I don't really trust the current guidelines, the federal guidelines of hate crimes against society, against people, against property.
No, I agree. And I definitely don't think it protects our people, obviously, because here's a situation again where we have the footage, we have the things needed, and they're still saying, well, there's just not enough evidence. And it's like, well, how much evidence do you need when it's on camera, you have witnesses? It's confusing. I don't know. Now, is there a place that people can go? Because thank you so much for bringing the information. I didn't even know there was an anti-Black hate crime bill. Is there a place that people can go for this, or what needs to be done to help push this forward?
Right. So Ben Crump is on his website where you can actually sign a petition to urge lawmakers to pass the anti-Black hate crime bill. You can write your own lawmakers. You can write your senators and representatives to say we need to pass this bill this session, the session that's coming up. It's out there. There are so many bills out there that don't get passed because they feel the people, are not paying attention to that. So that's a challenge that I want to send to our audience to definitely help us to pass the anti-Black hate crime bill that's already out there.
Absolutely. No. And again, Joy, I really appreciate when you join because you bring so much value. And I think it's important as we talk through these situations that we're providing solutions, right? It's one thing to talk about it and talk about our grievances and what upsets us as a community, but it's another to say, hey, here's a next step for us. This case is still in process. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the doors are completely shut. What are you hoping to see pan out as this story continues to develop and unfold? And we have more witnesses actually speaking out now. This is the first time we're hearing from some of those in this exclusive interview. So, what are you hoping to see unfold as this continues to move forward?
Well, you know what? They don't call me Justice Bae for anything. And I am not going to walk away with my tail between my legs saying, oh, it just didn't apply in this situation. I am going to definitely have a megaphone to talk about. And yes, I know people say, don't write any more think pieces. There will be more think pieces that are written about the Montgomery brawl, because this was a time where people just stood still. And I often hear people say, what would I have been doing around slavery? What would I have been doing during Jim Crow? Whatever you're doing right now. So if you're not speaking up, if you're not saying anything, that is exactly what you would have been doing, because these things are still going on today. So what I hope is that those white individuals will be charged for something that is higher than just a misdemeanor. Have you seen those videos? The Black people fought back. Black people by nature, we're not confrontational people. We actually invite too many people to the cookout, in my opinion. Black people we didn't conquer individuals and lands that were already existing. So we are not confrontational people by nature. Now we will retaliate back. So what I will see is once and for all that the state of Alabama, that the city of Montgomery will charge these individuals with assault and not misdemeanor assault.
Absolutely, and I think it's good to put a name on that. So I want to make sure I say those names again. That's Alan Todd, Zachary Shipman, Mary Todd. Those are just some of the thugs that we saw in these videos attack this Black man, in addition to other people over and over. As you continue to see more and more footage come out, as you watch the videos over and over again, when they cover us, Joya, what they say, oh, we're thugs, we're this. Well, baby, these are some white thugs that did the same thing you say that we do, So I really do hope that Alabama does bring these charges forward. Again, Joya, thank you so much for joining me. Again, can you tell people where to go to find this anti-Black hate crime bill? And also, what do you have coming up? And of course, how can people keep up with all the beautiful things that you're doing for us?
Yes, if you go to Ben Crump's website, and I am not an affiliate of Ben Crump, I am not a lawyer for Ben Crump, but he does have a place where you can actually go and click the petition to sign to pass the anti-Black hate crime bill. You can find me on Twitter at Justice Bay Joya. You can find me on Instagram at Justice Bay _. Right now, I work in death penalty abolition. I'm gearing up for World Day Against the Death Penalty, which is October 10th, 10/10. So those are the things that I'm working on right now. And as always, I am so happy to sit in with you guys on Wednesday and share with y'all what I'm fighting for.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you. I will say this before you go. I was trying to look at the days because, January 6th happened and then this happened on August 5th. It's something about that 5th and 6th day, something around the beginning. I don't know. They acting up this year around that time. So, we're going to keep a lookout as we go into the new month. But again, thank you so much, Joya, for joining me. I appreciate this conversation and being able to extend it. But hey, you've heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Alan Todd, Zachary Shipman, and Mary Todd not being charged with a hate crime in connection to the Montgomery Brawl? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.